The JCM 800 is a classic amplifier whose circuit has been replicated by a number of different amp manufacturers, like this Wangs over here, that can deliver tones like this. Not bad at all. Now, players who are seeking out that JCM 800 tone really demand the power and features that only a full-size tube amp can deliver. Well, that changes the plot line just a little bit. Hey there, I'm Dan, the self-proclaimed Lonely Rocker. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're into guitars, related gear, and recording it all to hear how it sounds, well, you've come to the right place. Perhaps you'll consider clicking the subscribe button and ringing the notification bell if you enjoy my content, and I really appreciate that. So today we are checking out the Wangs VT-15. This is a compact 15-watt JCM 800 style amplifier. Now I'm really excited. Wangs sent me this amplifier. This is not a sponsored review, but they did make this amp for me in this beautiful red Tolex. And as far as I understand, now that they're actually offering red on their different amplifiers, I apparently got the very first one anywhere in the world. So that's pretty exciting. So thanks to Wangs and their American representative for hooking this all up. I don't know if he wants to be mentioned in this video, but he knows who he is. So thank you very, very much. Now, this is a very affordable all-tube amplifier with some interesting features. So I'm going to share that with you. So let's dive right in. All right, well, that's a little sampling of what the VT-15 has to offer. It is a single channel amplifier with 2 inputs here. Now, my setup, the Phoenix LTD Deluxe Phoenix 1000, I've been using that guitar in every video since I got it. We're going to break that trend a little bit later in the video. Certainly is a great combination with this amplifier. Now that's running into the amp direct, except we're noted with a boost pedal that's running out into the reactive load. My Fractal is operating as an audio interface. I'm not doing any processing with it, but it is hosting my cab IRs. And on screen, I've shown you what cab IRs that I'm using. Always important, I think, to pair the right cabinet with the amplifier. In the cab IR world, of course, you have a lot of different possibilities. This amp can be a little bit on the bright side, really. A little bit EQ or pairing it with the right cabinet is the remedy, of course, depending on what you want. And I actually find that brightness translates into articulation. So if you are in a recording setting like I am here, I have no problem with an amp that's a little bit brighter because I tend to roll off the bottom end anyways. It sits better in the mix. So just the key is obviously pairing it with the right cabinet to get it to sound the way that you wanted. And obviously that's very easy to do in the cab IR world. So as far as the tones you heard in that example, the first one, which was the higher gain tone that I demonstrated, certainly not a high gain tone, but using the high input here, was using a boost pedal to push that a little bit harder. This amp responds really well to pedals for sure. So that gave me a little bit more of a push in a kind of classic rock realm. We're obviously not talking about metal high gain tones here. That riffy thing, that again was more of a mid gainy kind of thing, also going into the high input as well. No boost pedal, that was all amplifier. And then the clean tones, Going into the low input, I'm really surprised by the range on this amplifier. It is only 15 watts, but there's a surprising range of tones, and the clean channel, well, if we call it channel, the clean input is really, really clean. Just got to watch the input on the, the gain input here. That keeps the dirt out of the signal. Sometimes putting a little bit of saturation into that clean tone, again, lets it sit nicely in the mix, but I found I was able to get some really nice chimey clean tones. And I'm using the humbucker on the Phoenix for everything except for the clean tones. I am in the middle position, which blends the Seymour Duncan Custom in the bridge with the Fat Cat in the neck position. That's a great combination and worked really well with the clean tones coming out of this amplifier. All right, so I want to dive into the specifications of this amplifier so we can get to know it a little better. The Wangs VT-15 is an all-tube amplifier inspired by the JCM 800. VT stands for Vintage Tube. Wangs amps are manufactured to the highest standard in Wang's own factory in North Shaanxi province in China, with many of the components manufactured in North America, Japan, and the EU. It has two EL84s in the power section and three 12AX7s in the preamp. The shell is all birch and wrapped in red Tolex with white piping. Wangs has a number of colors to choose from. The handle is made from real leather, and all of the external components like the dials and switches are high quality. There are two inputs on the front. The high input gives you overdriven and distorted tones, and the low input delivers pristine cleans to edge of breakup. And there are two speaker outputs for 8 and 16 ohms. The VT-15 is a great pedal platform that reacts well to boost and drive pedals, and it has an effects loop giving you a wide range of tonal possibilities. Overall, the Wangs VT-15 is a solid amp with a stylish retro look, and it delivers high quality tones. So something important that I want to note about the Wangs brand is that it is manufactured in China, and there are a lot of products obviously mass-produced in China and just flooding the Western markets, but Wangs is not one of those brands. This amp was made to order, and their products are made to order. Now, originally the company was set up to service their local market, but obviously word got out about the quality of their amplifiers. More people internationally became interested in this product, so now there are ways to get it from different markets in the world. I don't know how far that extends, but certainly you can inquire. There is information in the description about Wangs if you are interested in amplifiers. But very important distinction about this brand is that you're going to get great value because this amplifier is under $600, an all-tube amplifier, but these are made to order. So I think you'd be hard-pressed to find value like this in amps that are manufactured in the United States or in Europe. So if you are looking to get into tube amps and perhaps you're on a limited budget and thought tube amps were out of reach, this may be a brand that you want to consider, and you can feel good to know that these are made-to-order amplifiers and you're not grabbing something that's mass-produced. So really, really good quality here. All right, let's get back into the tones. Time to rest the Phoenix. Going to use the Sir Classic T Deluxe Limited Edition. Want to hear some more clean tones. This time I want to take advantage of the effects loop using a delay from IK Multimedia and one of my favorite delays from Color Tone. I really love the clean tones that I'm getting out of this amplifier. By the way, that was the middle position on the Sir and taking advantage of the effects loop. Now, the only thing that I'm missing so far in this amplifier is there's no level control on the effects loop. That's not unusual. I often like to have that little extra adjustment if I want to adjust the blend. But the fact that this small amp has an effects loop, because there are amps that don't, that just adds to the versatility of the amplifier, the different tonal possibilities. It accepts drives and things in the front really, really nicely. And then on top of that, having the effects loop and being able to put our reverbs and delays after the preamp just gives us a lot of tonal options. So really, really enjoyed that. All right, so let's get back into some more riffage. I'm going to bring in another guitar, one of my favorite guitars here on the channel, my Gibson Howard Roberts Fusion, a little solo action. Let's check it out. So once again, I took advantage of a boost pedal just to give a little bit of extra push in the front end. Good bite and clarity in that solo. Nice articulation. It sat really nicely in the mix. Added a little bit of delay in reverb in the mix, not using the effects loop this time, but really liked the results of that. Really nice lead tone right there. All right, so let's dive into one more big bombastic tone, big classic rock sound, no boost pedal, all amplifier using the Howard Roberts Fusion. Let's check it out. I love those big, no frills, classic rock tones. Now, the key to that tone is that it's actually not overly distorted. I had the dial barely at 50%, so obviously I had a bit of distortion in there, but there's still some clarity in there. You still hear all the notes. If you push it a little too hard, something like that, sometimes you lose the definition. And that's what I love about chords like that. Listen to things like AC/DC. It's not necessarily overly distorted, but it's got that big sound. That's what I was going for. And this amp truly delivered. Now, I have to say, I actually am really impressed with this amplifier. Now, it's up to you to decide if you like the tones from this amplifier, but I certainly had a lot of fun with this amp, and I certainly find in a recording situation that this punches well above its weight. Now, the difference with a small amplifier versus a higher wattage amplifier, obviously headroom, and you'll notice it in the bottom end. It doesn't have the same oomph that you'll get out of a 50 watt or 100 watt amplifier. But in a recording setting where you're double tracking and doing a little bit of EQing, it's almost discernible from a bigger amplifier. Again, I'm not suggesting that it sounds like a 100 watt amp, but it's certainly getting the job done. I certainly wasn't disappointed, if that's kind of what I'm trying to say, because there was a nice wide range of tones. It can handle a whole track from the clean to the dirty tones and everything in between, good for leads and things like that. And the fact that you've got the effects loop, a lot of versatility, the different sounds that you can dial into this amplifier. And it's important to note that it's a very well-crafted amplifier. All the appointments and the details of this amplifier are top-notch. It's flawless, right from the handle. All the dials feel good quality, and all the switches, the corner brackets and things like that. Even the piping and the Tolex work is absolutely perfect. Very well made amplifier. So I have to say, really impressed with the Wangs VT-15, and certainly would love to hear your thoughts on the tones that you did hear in this video. Well, there you have the VT-15 from Wangs. Now, it's funny, when they reached out to me and said they wanted to send me an amplifier, I was hoping it would have been one of their bigger amplifiers. Now, I do like to record big sounds, so when they told me they were sending me the 15 watt, I had some reservations, I'm not going to lie. But listen, who am I? I appreciated the offer, so I figured I would do my best, but I was worried that it was going to sound small. So anyways, when the amp finally arrived, I have to tell you that this thing is a lot louder than I anticipated. I plugged it into one of my cabinets, and man, this amplifier is loud. I would have no problem playing with a drummer with this amplifier. Now, I record here in the studio, so live is not really a concern for me, but I'll tell you, plugging into a cab, this thing just roared. Was really surprised how loud it was. Anyways, but overall, I have been blown away by this amplifier, just the craftsmanship. I mean, we are bombarded by a lot of import equipment, but Wangs is definitely a different company. As I mentioned, these are made to order. They have a lot of pride and craftsmanship, and it shows from every detail, as I demonstrated in this video. It's a well-built amplifier, and it sounds really, really good, and I'm really happy to have it here in my collection. So hopefully you have enjoyed that. If you have any thoughts, any questions at all, let me know in the comments. There is a link in the description if you want more information about the amplifiers that Wangs does manufacture, so definitely check them out. They have a full lineup and some really cool things to check out. That will also be in the description. But if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And while you're doing that, well, we love talking amplifiers here. How about my old Marshall JCM 900? Why all the hate? Well, I'm going to link that right here if you want to check it out. And remember, you don't need a band to rock and roll, and I'll catch you in the next one.